We've seen tests of speed and precision, but the second quarter of Quack's Marble Clash Season 3 kicks off with a test of strength. Hello everyone, I am your host Quack, and right now the Ivy League have the point lead by only 3 over the 4K Pixels, who have a pretty solid gap back to the Stingrays and an even larger gap back to Team Pixie. But that's what the standings are looking like as we hit this familiar classic with block pushing. It's very different though from what we've seen in the past. Instead of being one team at a time, one run at a time, it's going to be 4 teams at once, and they'll each get 4 chances in each of those 4 lanes, and the top 2 runs will be combined for their score. But we begin with the demo run with these teams. They'll only be running once to show off how this track works. But it looks like the Event Horizons were going to have a great push, but the Fidus Praxi pushed by at the last moment in that 4th lane, doing a great job here. The Galactic Empire and Mach 5 not quite up to their usual standards, but still pretty solid for all of them. As we're seeing the teams getting past 60 there, it looks like a 62.8 will be the best run of any of these 4. We'll see how that benchmark compares to the rest, and these runs are noticeably farther than the ones back in Season 1 due to the different track layout, so that is a new record for Fidus Praxi with a 62.8 centimeter run. We'll see how that benchmark compares. But now we get ready for the main event. It's only the top 2 runs that matter for your score, so really only half of these runs are even going to count. As we begin with these teams, it looks like the Azure Diamonds are going to be the first to hit the blocks, but the Stingrays push way past 70, and that is a great run for the Stingrays. The Pollen Puffs and Stone Golems not looking too shabby, but the Pollen Puffs will be winning between the 2 of them. But the Azure Diamonds coming off of a golden last medal, that last event, that momentum is not carrying up. It looks like the Stingrays, though, getting it done here past 70, a 74.3 is going to reset the record, unsurprisingly, by over 10 centimeters. Now let's see how these teams do in their second push. You can't just rely on one push. You have to be good consistently. We'll see if the Azure Diamonds, it looked like they had a good thing going. They were the first ones to touch the blocks, but once again, it's not going to happen for them. The Stingrays also looking pretty solid, but the Pollen Puffs this time are going to be getting it done with the best push of these 4, but still not anyone past the 65, it looks like, and a 62.5 will be the best of anyone here. The Pollen Puffs trying to make a challenge for the Stingrays, but only chipping away at the lead that the Stingrays already have thanks to that first round. But now we move on to the 3rd run. Let's see how these teams do here, as they've already got 2 runs now. They've really got the hang of it. And the Stingrays are pushing past 66, it looks like. It's going to be another great run for them. The Pollen Puffs also not looking bad, but the Stingrays are making a run for a 2nd gold medal of the season. The Azure Diamonds, really, what is happening to them? They are struggling so much in another wide spread, as they are actually, the Stingrays are the only ones to improve in this heat. You can see the runs in gray. Those are the ones that will not count because they are not improvements. They are not part of the 2 best runs. So we'll see as we head into the final run for this heat now. The Stingrays on the top lane are going to get, once again, the best push of the heat. The Stone Golems getting a pretty solid one there, but the Pollen Puffs, unfortunately, not able to improve here. Last of any of these 4, and I think that will seal the deal for them. While the Stone Golems, I think, might be able to push past them. It's hard to say. Oh, no, actually, the Stone Golems don't even improve here. No one does, except for the Azure Diamonds, who have been struggling so much, but they will be slotting into P4. But the Stingrays, with a 140.4, have a huge lead over the Pollen Puffs and Stone Golems as we head into Heat 2. Team Pixie, the Loaves of Bread, the Jelly Jammers, and the Red Rockets in this one. Several teams that would like a medal this season, and it looks like the Loaves of Bread will be starting off with a pretty solid run past the 58, it looks like, but not able to reach the 60. The Red Rockets also not looking bad here, but the Loaves of Bread are off to the strongest start of these few, and still not able to get past the 60, though. No one will, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to contend for a medal. These teams really need to pick up the pace heading into the next round if they want to do so. We'll see how these teams do as they swap lanes and go again. It's now the Loaves of Red on the top side. Will they continue their success here? It looks like the Jelly Jammers had the lead. The Red Rockets take it, but the Loaves of Bread take it past them with a great surge at the end. And that was actually past 64, it looks like. A great run for the Loaves of Bread. Is still not quite able to challenge the Stingrays for now, but we're seeing how this event can be pretty consistent. The Loaves of Bread consistently winning this heat with a 64.4, only 4 millimeters over the Red Rockets, though, so they have to keep things consistent if they want to stay in that provisional win for the heat spot. Now we'll see as they come down once more. The Loaves of Bread are the only ones at this point that look like they could challenge the Stingrays. As they get past 60 once again, I think that'll be another improvement for them. The Red Rockets, I'm not sure if they'll be able to say the same. That looked pretty solid from them. But Team Pixie and the Jelly Jammers are just completely absent from this heat so far. Not looking great in really any run. And it looks like a 63.7 will be an improvement for them. Everyone improves except for the Jelly Jammers in this run of 52.2. Not up to their standards. As we go one last time. Will the Loaves of Bread or the Red Rockets, maybe even the Jelly Jammers, be able to challenge the Stingrays as they come down now? The Loaves of Bread have momentum, but it's just not going to happen. They'll get around the 65, it looks like, but I think that's all they have to show for it. I think they'll be able to take P2 pretty comfortably from the Pollen Puffs from Heat 1, but I think that's all they'll have to show for it. The Red Rockets not looking too bad, but they will not improve here. The Jelly Jammers will with a 54, but the Team Pixie unfortunately struggling once again here. Strength events usually aren't their strong suit, and a 110.1 is not great. The Loaves of Bread slot into the silver medal position. A great result for them, considering they're 15th in the standings. The Pollen Puffs for now on that provisional podium as well. The Red Rockets provisionally top half, as the Azure Diamonds really struggled in that first heat to get anything going. Now we move on to Heat 3 with the point leaders, the Ivy League in this one, as well as the City Lights, who are great at strength events. The Flying Saucers are hosts, and the Snapping Turtles, who are way behind the rest. What happened to them? They completely stopped dead in their tracks hitting that block. I'm not sure what happened to them. They're another team that hasn't been the greatest in strength events, but never to this extent. And it looks like the City Lights got a great run here, but perhaps the widest spread we've ever seen in one of these runs, and a 62.8 versus a 34.5. What happened to the Snapping Turtles? They had terrible form coming out of the starting gate, and it's all falling apart for them. We're seeing how this open lane strategy is going to change the results compared to what we saw in Season 1, but the Ivy League will actually be getting it done here, around the 65 for them. The City Lights also looking strong, but those two are the two contenders, it looks like. The Flying Saucers are so far being pretty quiet in this heat, just getting third place, and it looks like the push will be a 65.7 for the Ivy League. Very strong for them. They're coming off of 3 consecutive medals. They're trying to get a 4th. Now let's see how these teams do in their third run. At this point, they know what they need to do to improve upon their runs, and the Ivy League will be doing it once again. The City Lights really not living up to their usual standards here, though, not looking the greatest in the bottom lane, and we'll see if they're able to keep things up in that final push. Meanwhile, the Snapping Turtles finally getting something going here past the 56 this time around, and that'll definitely be an improvement for them. Well, the City Lights not improving here with a 50.2, but a 60 even will be very solid for the Ivy League. But now it's time for the final run for these teams, as we're already getting later into this event. They knew who they have to challenge. It looks like the City Lights will be the first to the blocks and the first past 60, and the only ones past 60. Very solid for the City Lights, trying to get another medal in a strength event. They're looking great so far. They haven't been the greatest in the previous events this season, but it looks like they might have finally found their footing here, doing a great job here against their rivals, the Ivy League, and actually, now that I look at it, no one improves here. The 62.7. It just goes to show, though, how strong the City Lights were in their previous runs, and that will be enough to put them on the provisional podium with a 126.3. The Ivy League not too far off. But now we move on to the final heat, the 4K Pixels, Avocados, Chili Peppers, and King Crabs. The King Crabs won this event back in Season 1, but it's the 4K Pixels who are going to get past 65 here. A great run for them. And the rookie team, the 4-time medalist already, trying to get their 5th in a row. We've never seen a team do that, and it looks like they're doing great once again here. Against all odds, the 4K Pixels are still finding the stamina to keep improving on themselves, and the King Crabs also looking great here, unsurprising for a team that's been so dominant in strength events in the past. Meanwhile, the Chili Peppers and Avocados, those rivals, not looking great in the first run. We'll see if they can improve here. It looks like the Chili Peppers will, getting past the 63, actually very close between the Peppers and the 4K Pixels, but the 4K Pixels looking great once again here, past 60 for the second run in a row. Are the 4K Pixels going to do it? It looks hard to say for now, but it looks like a 62.8. Actually, they will be beating the Chili Peppers just barely. It's based on the farthest back edge of the block, as it was back in block bumping last season. So it's hard to say when the camera angle is above. But now we move on to the third round. Will the 4K Pixels improve? The King Crabs definitely will, with almost a 63. I think that's a 62.7 or so. Very solid for the King Crabs, though. The Chili Peppers also not looking bad here, but they weren't quite able to challenge at the end. The Avocados still struggling. It's very close between everyone in this heat, though. And a 62.5 for the King Crabs will be the only one of these 4 that improves, but still very solid for them. But now move on to the final run here of the day. Will anyone challenge the Stingrays? It might be the 4K Pixels. They're coming down side by side. They hit the blocks first. They're past 65. It's a great run for the 4K Pixels. I don't think they'll be challenging the Stingrays, who were just so impeccable in that first run. But the 4K Pixels, the rookie team, will this be enough for their 5th consecutive medal? We've never seen anything like that. But a 65.5 will be the only ones to improve here. They win by almost 10 full centimeters, and it's enough. The 4K Pixels get P2 against all odds. The rookie team get 5 medals in a row to start the season. The Stingrays hold on for their second gold of the season by almost 10 full centimeters, absolutely destroying the competition with 2 amazing runs, the 2 best of the day, and the Loaves of Red squeak by with third place over the City Lights. Heartbreaking that the City Lights aren't able to get their first medal of the season, but here is the podium. The Stingrays getting it done here, their second gold medal of the season after winning the first event, but the 4K Pixels unbelievably getting 5 in a row against all odds and a 90 points to start the season. Amazing from them. The Ivy League and Stingrays also impeccable so far with 84s for them and a 35-point gap between the top 3 and Team Pixie in 4th place, and it's really anyone's game beneath that. The green team's actually struggling quite a bit at the bottom, other than the Ivy League, of course, but still, the title battle is electric. Only 5 events in. These top 3 have gotten so many medals already. We'll see how this progresses as we head into the next event, which will be Funnel Duels. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.